why I did not watch the Canelo Alvarez Sergey Kovalev fight yesterday night, and I watched it this morning. I bought my ticket and everything. I watch my fights at the movie theater. I think it's one of the best experiences. But as I've come to watch boxing, and I know I'm probably not the only one, my problem is, man, it be coming on too late. Sometimes I don't feel like staying up that late. You know what I'm saying? Like, other times I used to. And sometimes when I get done, I want to go do stuff after I watch the fight. But it's so late that I don't get a chance to do it. I just go straight home. So sometimes I opt out of watching the fight that night, and I'll say I'll watch it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I got to get up and I got to train. If I'm staying up late watching fights, then I come home and, you know, I got to get up and train. I'm drained, or I either don't go and then I end up feeling guilty or some shit. But the primary reason why I didn't see the fight on the night of, and I just bought a ticket for no reason, because I already know the bullshit that they was going to pull. And I just got to say, with boxing or the zone or whatever, if you pull that shit again, I will not be fucking with you. Most people are like, what do you mean, Bruce? Do you know that they delayed that fight for UFC, right? I hope you know that. I hope you know that. They delayed that fight for UFC. I knew they was going to do it. See, and that's my other thing with UFC. UFC just want to be in direct competition with boxing. I don't get why you just don't set it up on a different day. The same people that like boxing like UFC. Same people like UFC like boxing. You know what I'm saying? But they always want to be this constant war back and forth. So to make sure, you know what I'm saying, they delayed that fight so the Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz fight can go on. The reason why I opted out of both those fights, because number one, I knew Canelo was going to win, and I knew Jorge Masvidal was going to win. You know what I'm saying? I say I'll just watch those fights in the morning. Fights like that where I already know, I'm going to start just throwing my hands up to it in general. But my boy called me, and he's like, man, what happened to you? How come you didn't come? You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I was tired, and I didn't feel up staying up that late. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I already know they was going to be on that BS. He was like, yeah, the fight did start really late, bro. And I was like, I told him, man, I knew it. They was trying to just wait out the whole UFC so they can get the UFC turnover crowd to go tune into the Canelo Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev fight. You know what I'm saying? He started busting out laughing because he knew I was right. You know what I'm saying? But if they end up doing that crap again, man, I'm not messing with y'all. All right? You either compete straight head up with UFC, or you don't compete at all, or pick different dates. I don't know. But I think UFC caters their dates after boxing dates. Once again, I don't know why either organization would do that. You guys can both get the same amount if you just put it on a different day, or just make sure your card happens before this person cards happen. I don't know, but that's been my main decision, and that's been my main problem. So many times I had to pick UFC or boxing, UFC or boxing. Sometimes I pick boxing, sometimes I pick UFC. Sometimes I'm in a place where they're showing both. You know what I'm saying? But in those places where I'm at, when the main event comes on for UFC takes up all the screens. You know what I'm saying? And they cut the volume off, and the only volume you can hear is what's going on in UFC. But I just want to bring it up to tell you that's why I did not watch the fight directly last night, and why I end up watching it this morning, because I knew they was going to delay that fight because they was worried about viewership because of the Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal fight. I didn't care about the UFC fight because, man, there's no way in hell Nate Diaz was beating Jorge. You know, like, it's just no way in fuck. I haven't watched it yet, but I don't know how the fight ended or something like that. I guarantee it was probably something brutal or something like that, but I'm going to catch up to it right after I upload this video. But other than that, the zone, if y'all do that shit again, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go with UFC. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And I'll watch that other shit in the morning. That's just how it's going to be. You know, but I'm definitely not going for that again. All right. Anyways, I'm out.